What is going on, everybody? How are you doing today, Toilet Tribe? Shout out to the Toilet Tribe. It has been a busy Monday. It is the day before teams have to get down to a 53-man roster, and we have some moves. And I was sitting at home. I was bored, and I wanted to talk about it, so I decided I would jump on and talk about it by myself because I'm here all by myself. As you can see, it is George. Coming to you live. I want to talk about some of the happenings that are going on right now in the NFL, some of the big news that's been coming out, some of the cuts that teams have been doing today, what some of these rosters and depth charts are starting to form up and take shape as these cuts are being made. So the biggest news of the day so far is Jimmy Garoppolo and the San Francisco 49ers. Word came out that they reworked his deal. His new deal is worth approximately $6.5 million guaranteed, which is down from the nearly $27 million guaranteed that it was for this season. So Jimmy Garoppolo is staying with the San Francisco 49ers. In his new contract, he has a no-trade clause, a no-cut clause, and they cannot tag him after the season. So in 2023, Jimmy G is officially a free man. He will be an unrestricted free agent. He can go sign with any team that he chooses that is willing to obviously to sign him. What this means for the 49ers is they have one of the, if not the top backup quarterback in the NFL. Last year, Jimmy G made it to the NFC Championship game. 2 years before that, he made it to the Super Bowl. Whether you could say it was the defense, you could say it was the quarterback, listen, he was the starting quarterback for the team that got them there, right? So he gets the credit for that. That is on his resume. It cannot be taken from him. This also puts a lot of pressure now on Trey Lance. If Trey Lance does not come out and start performing the way he should, there are going to be rumblings for Jimmy Garoppolo to take over as the starter, which would be, in my opinion, would be just an absolute horrific move for both the confidence of Trey Lance and for the San Francisco 49ers. So them keeping Jimmy Garoppolo is great for the 49ers, the team, but it also puts a tremendous amount of pressure on Trey Lance to go out and perform because Trey Lance is going to be the starter and Jimmy G will be the backup. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on throughout the season on how that plays out. I personally think at some point this year, Jimmy Garoppolo will be the starting quarterback for the 49ers. I think he will be replacing a healthy Trey Lance. I just think Trey Lance, if he comes out and he starts to stumble and it's not going good and they start losing 2 or 3 games in a row, and it's because of poor quarterback play, they're going to switch it up and go straight to Jimmy G to come in and try to right the ship. That's just my opinion, so that's what I think about that. Also, another piece of news that just came out, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers have agreed to terms to send the former second-round pick Laviska Sheanault from the Jacksonville Jaguars to the Carolina Panthers. This is great for Laviska Sheanault. I think it gives him a chance to try to restart what was a promising career in Jacksonville. It was only in 2020 when Matt Rule used somebody who had the similar skill set as Laviska Sheanault and Curtis Samuel and got him up over 1,000 all-purpose yards. Now, I'm not saying Laviska Sheanault's going to go to going to go to Carolina and be a 1,000 all-purpose yards player. And I'm not even going to say he's going to be finishing relevant at this moment. I'm just saying it's going to be a great opportunity for him to restart his career. The depth chart for the Carolina Panthers should look like this: DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Shi Smith, T. Higgins, Laviska Sheanault, and Terrence Marshall Jr. I think Terrence Marshall is going to make the team. He's going to be on the bubble, though. But I think ultimately, they spent a decent draft capital on him last year. I think he does worm onto the team. It's good news for the Carolina Panthers themselves. It gives them a kind of gadget player that can help take a little bit of pressure off Baker Mayfield and ultimately should help the team overall. So I think it's a better NFL move than it is a fantasy move. But I'm excited for Laviska Sheanault. I liked him coming out, and I think this gives him an opportunity to restart his career. The Jets have waived former fourth-round pick LaMichael Pirine. That's really not that much of a surprise. Their depth chart looks like Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman. Yes, Tevin Coleman is still there. And Ty Johnson. I still expect Breece Hall and Michael Carter to share a majority of the snaps the first 3 or 4 games of the season. Eventually, I think Breece Hall gets a much larger piece of that pie, but I don't think it's going to be something that happens right off the bat. The Vikings are open to trading running back Alexander Madison. They've been taking calls about him. Apparently, at least 10 teams have called them with interest in Madison. Madison is a great running back. He's very, very good. Anytime he's got to come in for Dalvin Cook, you can't tell really the difference between the two. Dalvin Cleary is more talented, but Alexander Madison has been extremely effective at every opportunity he's been given. So if they were to trade Alexander Madison, that would just leave Dalvin Cook, Keeney Ngwahu, who I think I pronounced that right. That's who they drafted this year, and Ty Chandler as the only 3 running backs on the team at this moment. I don't expect them to carry 4 running backs. So if Alexander Madison does get traded, then that should be the depth chart there. The only reason I even brought him up is because a lot of teams have invested in Madison as a potential 3 or 4 game replacement for Dalvin Cook, because typically Dalvin Cook misses, 3 or 4 games a year with various injuries. In a surprise to me, the Miami Dolphins have released running back Sony Michelle. I honestly thought he would make the team. I thought the odd man out would be Myles Gaskin. Sony Michelle is a great blocking running back, but he's absolutely struggled in Miami this preseason to do anything. So they went ahead, they released him today. He was on a 1-year non-guaranteed contract, so there was no loss in cutting him. That should leave Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Myles Gaskins, and Salvon Ahmed as the 4 running backs. I don't know if they're going to carry all 4. There's still a possibility Gaskins or Ahmed gets cut. Miami does have Alex Ingold, the fullback, to carry on the roster as well, because Mike McDaniel likes to use the fullback. So it'll be interesting to see if they cut at least 1 more running back. I expect them to. I expect them to go into the season with only 3. Washington coach Ron Rivera said doctors are optimistic about Brian Robinson's recovery and his return to the football field this season. That is absolutely fantastic news for Brian Robinson. I hope he is able to get on the football field this year, but me personally, I am not investing any draft capital in him doing that. You don't know when he's going to come back right now. There's not a whole lot of details. We just know it's lower body injuries. I'm not taking the risk of having to put him on my team and hold him on the bench unless I have an IR spot. But even then, they haven't put him on the IR, so I don't know what's going to go on with him. But he's not somebody I would be interested in stashing in a redraft league this year. I'll let somebody else handle that headache and have to make the waiver moves around him to keep him on the bench for what could be. A couple of other cuts that are kind of fantasy relevant, kind of not, but just a couple other ones I thought I'd touch on briefly. Lions have released linebacker Jared Davis and tight end Devin Funchess. Yes, the same Devin Funchess that was once a wide receiver for Carolina and numerous other teams. Jaguars have also released wide receiver Laquan Treadwell and Reichwell Armstead. What's kind of sad about the Reichwell Armstead is he was in line for a decent amount of touches last year in Jacksonville, and he came down with COVID. And it wasn't just one of those, I've got it for a week and I'm better. Like, that dude nearly died 2 or 3 times in the hospital because of COVID. So I'm glad that he was able to get a full, clean bill of health, able to return to the Jaguars. I wish he would have made the team, but they went ahead and they cut him. A couple other minor cuts. 49ers have cut cornerback Ken Crawley. Titans have released Tyree Gillespie. And the Ravens surprisingly released Tony Jefferson. I have a feeling he will probably end up back on the team. The Ravens are notorious for cutting their veterans, taking a first or second year player, putting them on IR, kind of like a stashing, and then bringing back the veteran that they cut. So while Tony Jefferson being cut was kind of a surprise, I expect the Ravens to bring him back as a safety for that team. So that's it. That's the bathroom break. Knocked everything out in a little over 10 minutes for me, just rambling on and on about this for 10 minutes. And I actually got through the whole thing is actually impressive. I impressed myself. Hey, what's going on, Chuck? Stay tuned to Toys for Titles. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on the Patreon. We have Patreon /Toys Titles. Follow us here on the YouTube. We are 9 subscribers away from our 700. Our goal is to hit 700 before the start of the season. We are 9 subscribers away, so hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Go to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. We're out here. We're grinding. We're working hard trying to bring you the latest and greatest up-to-date news. I will be back later tonight with the mock draft lavatory with myself and Jason and probably Joe. That's what we're going to do. I announced it last night. We're going to do 4 live mock drafts. It'll be the last mock draft lavatory of the season. So let's get it. Let's do it. And I hope everybody has an absolutely fantastic day and evening. And until next time, we will see you later.